Good evening, friends and family, and thank you for coming to another night with Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities Behind Black Business. And we have another wonderful guest for you tonight, Nadra Smiley, who is the founder of Evolving Textures. And I've known this young lady for a very long time. She has a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience in the hair care industry. And thank you, Nadra, for coming in tonight.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so we're a nonprofit organization here at Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Community, working to enhance the awareness and support of Black businesses. And I had the opportunity of running into Nadra at the 75th Street Festival, where all of these wonderful Black businesses were there at a street event, and it was just great. And the community was really enjoying it and was really happy to see all of these businesses. And I'm happy that I had a chance to run into Nadra. And so in order for us to circulate the dollars in our community, in order for our communities to thrive, we have to support our businesses. And that's what we're all about here at Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities. We support our bookstores. We're great proponents of our bookstores, Nadra. You may remember when we had 20 plus bookstores here in Chicago, and they all went. They
Yes.
just went.
And
But
we
we
had
do have.
in Hyde Park. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a Frontline that had been
Mm-hmm.
in Hyde Park. It had turned over a number of owners. It has always been a bookstore since I have been living in Hyde Park, and that was back in the 90s. And but it's no longer there. We fought very hard to try to keep Frontline open, but they're no longer there. But they do have an online presence, frontlinebooks.com, so we can still support them. But there has been a resurgence of Black bookstores here in Chicago. And if you go to our website at rrgbc.org, we have them listed. And we feature a Black bookstore on our website every month. Last month, it was Dub Book Joint. We have a book giveaway. Our winner of the book giveaway was Owen Lawson. Owen, you have won a copy of How Black History Can Save Your Life by Ernest Krim. And I've been trying to get in touch with you, Owen. So please email us or give me a call back so we can get you a copy of this book. Many times people think there's strings attached. They're going to have to pay some dollars, but that's not the case. We pay for the book. We purchase it from the bookstore because that supports the bookstore. We send it to you in hopes that you will read the book and support this bookstore. And that's it. So Ernest Owen Larson, please give us a call. Our bookstore for this month is Burst Into Books. They're located at 119 East 107th Street in Roseland. And Burst Into Books, you can also contact them at burstintobooks.com. Their hours are Tuesday through Friday, 11 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 5. Their phone number is 872-702-4998. And our book for our book giveaway this month is Rest is Resistance. So it's talking about pushing back on capitalism, white supremacy, using the power of rest, daydreaming, naps for healing and justice. So it's a bestseller. And if you want to win a copy of this book, all you have to do is subscribe to rrgbc.org. It's that simple. Um, Knowledge is power. Supporting our bookstores is power. And that's why we feature these bookstores on our website and why we're giving these books away. So please support our bookstores. And we also want you to go to Support Black Bookstores Chicago at change.org and sign our petition, because we want our local representatives, our local libraries to give some contracts to our bookstores. Chicago Public Schools should be giving contracts to our Black bookstores. So please sign our petition. And lastly, we support the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. And I'm sure you're familiar with the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. Nadra, they've been here in Chicago on the South Side for a number of years, over 20 years, and they have lots of products now, mortgage loans, uh,
Oh, wow.
business loans. They have personal loans, and also you don't have to go to some of these payday loan stores and pay all of this high interest. They have some of those types of
Hmm.
loans as well, and they give financial literacy classes. So they're not just interested in getting your money and investing your money, even though that's how banks stay open, but they're interested in you. So we should all have an account at the Southside Community Federal Credit Union that is located right there at 55th and Wentworth in the shopping mall. So please support the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. Okay, so now let's get to our guest tonight, Nadra Smiley, who has a beautiful smile. Known as
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Nadra is the founder of Evolving Textures. So, Nadra, I know this is a line of natural hair care products. And tell
Correct.
us about your company.
So, of course, the name of our company is Evolving Textures. We cater specifically to women of color with textured hair. So if you have textured hair, whether you are rocking natural styles, locks, twists, braids, we cater to that in all of our formulas. So making sure that the hair is moisturized, making sure that the products are clean, making sure that they not only, moisturize, but they hold up with style, because I'm a stylist, right? So it's important for a lot of our stylists who are performing a lot of these looks to have products that they can trust. And I thought it was really important, as I was growing up in the salon, to make sure that I wanted to create something that could provide longevity for the health and the care of my clients' hair. So we started it in the salon, which is funny because I just saw a post from a young lady who, when I was doing my testing, and she became a client, a
Mhm.
customer at the 75th Street Buy Black event.
Okay.
And for the first time, she had used the products, but she was there when I was doing the testing of the products and making sure that everything was right. Like, can't put that ingredient in it, can't put that ingredient in it. And that has always been something that has been dear to my heart. Just growing up with me just caring so much about natural
Sure.
hair. Like, that's what we were taught, is that you preserve every strand, no matter what that client is going through, whether or not they want to start over, whether or not they want to cut it all off. We're not just taking care of the outside of our customers, we're taking care of them holistically.
Okay.
So that's something that I cater to and making these products.
Absolutely. Now, how long have your products been out, Evolving Textures?
I launched Evolving Textures officially in 2012.
2012. Okay. So you've been
So
out for,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, we've been out there for a long time. It took a long time to, well, not a long time, but it took a while to gain some traction. We first got recognized and were asked to bring our products to Whole Foods, and I want to say
Mm-hmm.
2016. Um, there was an advocate in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago,
Sure.
and he gave me a call and said, "Hey, they're looking for local vendors for you to bring your products to Whole Foods." So we did the workshops, and we are still in Whole Foods today.
Okay.
So I'm very proud of that. And yeah, it's been a while. It's been a
That's a
journey
big
because when
contract.
we first started,
That's a big contract because it's my understanding when you get a contract with Whole Foods, you have to supply most of their stores, right? Oh,
well, it depends on the contract.
okay.
So it depends on the contract. When we first started, we had a local contract. So they were providing opportunities to small businesses in the area when they first opened 69th Street in Inglewood. So we know that is no longer, but I still have contracts with other places in
So
Chicago.
where are
So,
some of the places that your products are located?
so we have products in Southside, South Loop, Whole Foods.
Okay.
We carry and Jordan's Beauty Supply, of course, which is which is actually the longest running Black owned beauty supply
Yes.
store in
Yes.
Chicago. And hey, y'all, I shared, sharing the link. Hey, you guys, thank you for joining.
Absolutely.
Um, we are mainly online.
Okay.
So I want to stress, especially when you are a growing Black owned brand, it's very important to keep control of your brand. And I made the mistake of a few years ago doing a diversity program and getting into Amazon.com
Okay.
and kind of building a brand store on Amazon.com. But what ended up happening is most of my customers started going to
Okay.
Amazon.com, who was actually, and they have a bigger search engine
Sure.
optimization than I do. They have, far bigger reach. I mean, it's not even, we don't even have to speak about the reach,
Absolutely.
right? It's Amazon. But it took a long time to try to get those customers back to on site. So I'm still in that growing phase of, you know, just reaching as many customers as I can possibly reach organically
Okay.
through our website, which is evolvingtextures.com.
I know
So
when businesses come on, I often ask them where can their products be purchased, and Amazon is often stated as where they have their products. Even many of our authors, who have books, and so I encourage.
yes, that is a great point for that. That is I mean, it's a difference because we're talking about a brand, right? That I own. Amazon started out with selling books.
Mhm,
That's what they cater to.
mhm.
I sell hair care products. I like to have control of my brand because uh, we control the way we ship it. We take pride in how we ship it, what it looks like when it goes out, how it's packed. We take pride in everything that we do, in the packaging and everything. So having books being sold is a lot different than having like a liquid form product being sold, because now I don't have control of how my customer receives that product.
Okay.
So yeah, it's important for us to control our brand in that sense. Now, if I was a huge brand like L'Oreal, it wouldn't make that much of a difference because I can afford to give them 40% of my profit.
So we'll
But as a small brand, you can't afford stuff like
So
that.
you mentioned controlling your brand. So what are some steps that you think people need to take when you're talking? You want to control the packaging and how your product is presented and you're manufacturing how your product is. What are some steps that people need to think
Yeah.
about when you're talking about controlling your brand?
That's a great question. When we first started Evolving Textures, we were kind of doing things ourselves. until we had to, I mean, making the products ourselves, until we learned that there were a lot of different proponents to making your own products, right? When you make products that are natural, they have to go through a certain microbial testing, which means that, you make something natural, then it's going to go bad,
Okay.
right? So we found manufacturers who could make products that were designed for what we needed them to do, how we wanted them to perform. One of the ways of really controlling that is making sure you do your research on the vendors that you work with, but also that you grow your brand within your your website. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You know, social media is great, but the one thing that we want to do from social media is lead them back to our website.
Right.
And that's always a journey. It's always evolving, right? So I would say, instead of feeling like there's so many opportunities in going to a Walmart or different retail, I would say build within, and then once it like really gets big, then you can branch off into exploring other opportunities. But you want to build within first. You want to have your core, and that's really important for small brands, because a small brand is a brand that's making $500,000. A small brand is still a $1 million brand. That's small.
Okay. Okay. So it can take time and it can take
Yeah.
patience, and it
Yeah.
takes work. It always happening overnight, is what you're saying.
No, no. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing happens overnight. I mean, even like I said with your website, like you want it to be perfect, right, when you launch, but it's a constant evolving
Right.
thing over
Right.
time. Even when you get it exactly the way you want
Hmm.
it, it's still like things change technically. It's all type of advances that are consistently happening, and updates that are consistently happening every day, and you have to stay kind of abreast of that. So I mean, I'm lucky
Hmm.
and I'm blessed in a lot of ways that I've been able to kind of stay,
Hmm.
afloat, especially with everything that's going on in the world. But just being able to stay and continue to build, that's been a blessing for me. And, just continue to build my mother's legacy has also been a blessing for me.
And speaking of your mom, Amazon, I know back in the day, I'll say back in the 80s, especially that she was at the top of the line as far as I'm concerned here in Chicago with taking
Hmm.
care of natural hair and making natural hair look beautiful with all the different styles. And I
Yeah.
know she trained a lot of people, and she did it
Yeah.
very calmly, very careful. It just was like such second nature. And she had all these women around her.
Hmm.
Some of them went off and opened up their own businesses, and she had really nice uh, establishments. Her salons were always very nice and very Afrocentric. Good conversation,
Hmm.
and then people walking up and walking out the door looking beautiful. It was very nice, and I think you are.
Ultimate standard beauty. We had the ultimate standard
Yes,
of
you
beauty. We had
did.
to do
Yes.
things a certain kind of way. It had to meet a check mark. I'll never forget when I was coming up, and we were learning how to
Uh-huh.
braid and do hair the Amazon way.
Okay.
If you had a braid that wasn't right, it was gonna get cut off.
Okay.
I mean, the client wasn't gonna get cut off, but start
It had to
over.
be
You know what
done
I
right.
mean? Things had to be done right, and
Hmm.
they had to be done within, because it's a care.
Right.
Like it's. I'm so glad you brought this
Hmm.
up, because of training and everything that's going on right now. It's an important time to talk about how important it is to train. Like our field is not just braiding, right? We're not just braiding someone's hair. we're taking care of them holistically, the overall care of, their hair, how they feel about themselves, their self-esteem. Everything is tied to that.
Mm-hmm.
So in her training and all of those years of training, I mean, from the 80s, I know I've grown up with sisters like from when I was teenagers, like we still have very strong connections and growing up in the
Mm-hmm.
salon, but also advancing to a place where then we had a school, a licensed natural hair and braiding
Mm-hmm.
program. And that was something that we fought very hard for because of the recognition that it's important for us to have as our contribution in the beauty industry. As Black women, we are the highest spenders in the beauty
Wow.
industry. So we fought to actually be contributors with having licenses under the Cosmetology Act. And right now, that's trying to be ripped away from us. They're trying to erase all of the history that we have made and remove us, strike us from the Cosmetology
So
Act and remove our
I would
licenses.
say that that was a very important move because you had a lot of people out here braiding hair. Um, and as you mentioned, there's a certain technique and there's a certain care that has to occur, and that wasn't happening with a lot of people. And as a result, a lot of people were having problems, with their hair. And I think it definitely brought some legitimacy, some protection, and I just can't see why there would be so much pushback against it. But then I guess I could, and maybe you could speak to that. You know, why this was so challenging, and what were some of the challenges that you ran into as you were get this trying to
Well,
get this licensing.
yeah, when we go back to when we were trying to get the license, it wasn't started because we were trying to get a license. The licensing started because there were a lot of complaints about people doing hair improperly, people's hair
Mm-hmm.
falling out, um, unsafe sanitary practices. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
compromises that was made was, okay, there has to be some type of hours in sanitation and health, and there has to be some type of training in business, and there has to be hours around scalp and disorder and diseases. And that was a way that we got grandfathered in. But when we let them know there's a lot more training that needs to be done under hair braiding. Hair braiding is just a name of one
Mm-hmm.
technique that falls under a natural hair purview, right?
Okay.
As natural hair professionals, we do locks. That's a totally different set of practice and training. We braid. Some people are braiders. Some people are braid designers. Some people are just hair loss specialists, and some people only do natural hairstyles. That means not adding any extensions. So there are all these different purviews, right, of natural hair and what we do. So there's never just braiding. Like we're never, even if you think about it as, okay, if you think about it artistically, and I'm just gonna add some hair to someone's head,
Mm-hmm.
that hair, that synthetic fiber has the potential of pulling all of your hair out. There has to be training, certain practices, and how you do that properly. So yeah, like you said, um, people have their reason for it, but their reasoning for it doesn't outweigh the cost,
Right.
because we have made so many strides with Black women being able, or women of color being able to have their license and different opportunities and own schools and have salons. And if that's taken away, we don't have those same advantages, because now if you don't have a license, anybody who has a competing business next to you, let's say a salon, you're not regarded in zoning. You have no
Right.
protection. So it's just
And black
it's sad for me.
and black hair, natural hair, it has a special structure to it. It
Hmm.
does
It does.
require um, a level of protection when you're working with it, because you just can't, I mean, we've gone through so many different styles or, so many different
Mhm.
ways that we have addressed our hair. And
Yeah,
so
and it
it needs
constantly
to be
evolves.
clean. It needs to be
Yeah.
protected. So like I was looking at your products that you have, and I'd like you to speak how these products factor into that actual care of the hair, that special consideration of the black hair. So you have this
Yeah.
Remember Me styling foam. I saw
Hmm.
a lightweight hydrating treatment, all style assistant
Hmm.
braiding tool, and oil gel.
Oh,
So what would like for you to talk about
yeah.
those items? Because I remember when we had the afros and people were trying to moisturize the hair, and you was just putting more oil in. It's
Yeah.
always been putting more oil on the hair, and it would still break. You know, it's been depending on how kinky your hair was. Um, so yeah, talk about your product and how it really is addressing this.
My husband, my husband has given me the product, so I
Okay.
can. So, so one of our most popular products is called O-Gel.
Okay.
Um, and the reason that we made O-Gel because in the 90s we were doing locks, and the products that were on the market at the time to create or style locks had a lot of just harsh chemicals in them. Lots of alcohol, lots of parabens, just things that, of course, we want to hold our hair in place,
Hmm.
right? As Black women, that's what we want. We want stuff slick, sleek, and
Okay.
smooth. And there are products on the market that, even though you can avoid putting harsh chemicals in the product, but it would be expensive,
Hmm.
right? In order to cheapen our products are the cheapest on, things being marketed to us are like the cheapest thing in the market, right? So when you have gels and things like that, you just buy something really quick that's going to shellac it down. And that's what it does, is shellacks it down. It causes breakage over time. It builds up in the hair over time because of the harsh chemicals. So O-Gel was made so the hair could be moisturized, but it also have a sleek hold. It's glycerin, vegetable glycerin
Okay.
base. So when you see a lot of petroleum in products or and different types of glycerin, those are products that are going to build up and cake up and harden and cause the hair to break. So I wanted to make sure that everything in here was nutritional. So it's infused with aloe gel, shea nut oil, rosemary, all the good stuff
Mhm.
that keeps your hair. Castor oil, like I made sure that it was filled up so it not only holds that style, it also moisturizes over time, and it doesn't give you that hard hold,
Mhm.
right? You still get a sleek look in the
Okay.
beginning, and then it lasts for a long time.
Okay.
And I know that being a stylist, like over time with my Remember Me phone, over time, being a stylist, I love curly sets. Like I love curly styles. And what I would find in a lot of different setting lotions or mousses and foams is that it would harden and cause the hair to be really sticky and
Hmm.
stiff. And I search high and low how to make a product that would enhance the curl, but not be that sticky, hard kind of feeling, but still have that fluffy, bouncy curl. So it's called Remember Me, so you can remember like the state of your own curl. Like a lot of times people would come in my chair and say, Girl, I don't remember what my hair looked like the last time it was natural.
Okay.
So this is to remind you the last time your hair was
Okay.
natural, and it's enhanced marshmallow root and honey
Oh,
because that actually seals the cuticle and allows it to naturally hold that form. So there you go with that.
okay.
So remember me. And our drip oil, I was just trying to get fancy with the drip oil because throughout all my years of doing hair, the main oil that we had was the aerosol oil sheens,
Okay.
right? And
Right.
those contain so many harsh, I mean, bad ingredients where now they're banned.
Wow.
and um, and then after
So
a
you mean like the
while, then
Afro
you would
Sheen
get like,
spray?
yes, yes, now their aerosols are banned. Yeah. So then they started making like these different sheens that you could buy in the beauty supply store, and they was like mist oil. So I never forget working with my manufacturer to make this because it was really hard to get a natural oil to spray out or mist with it being natural, no alcohol,
Okay.
right? So then we just kept having to refine it. How can we refine it in its natural form? And we couldn't. So it's called drip oil because it drips. When you spray it, it's like a direct spray. So you'll see, like when I spray it. Now, let me tell you about oil. The reason why oil, when you put it in your hair and your hair still
Hmm.
breaks, is because you shampoo your hair, you have to seal the hair with like an oil water based product. Okay. And then when you apply the oil, that helps keep everything in and protect it. So it's just like when you take a shower, or let's just say you wash your face, right? When you wash your face, and you put your night cream on or your face cream on, your pores are still open from it being wet. You don't wait until it
Hmm.
dries for you to seal that moisture in. The same thing with your hair. Your skin is like the same organism, just like your hair. So how we treat the skin, you notice like when your skin is
Hmm.
dry, like after it dries, after the shower, you're real ashy, and then you put oil on it, it seems like it's just laying on,
Okay.
right? It never absorbs. This is it has to be wet.
Okay.
It has to be wet. It has to have some type of water base. Everything still has to be open and receiving for that oil to still in. So that's why a lot of times people will say, no matter how much oil I put on my hair, it never takes. But obviously, you see, this is something that I love talking
Absolutely.
about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
So those.
the oils in the hair, moisture is really big for textured hair. So that was something that was really important to me when creating my products. I didn't want to just aimlessly create
Sure.
things that I knew nothing about. I wanted to create things that I
Right.
knew worked,
Right.
right? That I use in the salon. So that's why after all this time, I never created a shampoo.
Hmm.
You know, I tried it. I noticed that when I was in the salon, my clients didn't rarely bought shampoo because they wanted me to shampoo their hair,
Okay.
right? So it's something that I allow my colleagues to dive into, and then I just support them because that's what I'm about, right? I want to support other black-owned
Sure.
brands. So I even have black-owned brands sitting behind me, like I'm selling her products
Okay.
because that's what it's like. We continue to contribute to each other
That's right.
and our colleagues to lift them up. You know,
That's
you can't be the only one winning. You got to make sure you share
That's
it,
right.
right?
That's right. That is something that we need to do more of, is sharing
Mhm.
and supporting businesses, supporting other businesses, other Black businesses. That's very important. Uh,
Because you can't know everything.
right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So when it comes to breakage, would you say Black women suffer more from, how would I say, is it from the breakage or the damage or how the hair is being treated, or the products? Maybe I should ask like that.
It's actually everything you just mentioned.
Oh,
Everything you just mentioned. Yeah. So a lot of times, if we're talking about hair loss, there's so many different types of hair loss, right? There's hair loss specifically very keen in the Black community where it's due to damage, right, and constant manipulation because we are obsessed with our hair. We are obsessed with manipulating our hair. And part of it is that is our creative expression. That's
mm-hmm,
how we express ourselves,
mm-hmm.
creatively. So I know that, cut it off, start my locks over, wear some braids. It's all about how I'm feeling.
There you go.
It's emotional, right?
Yes.
So, yes, so all of those things that we do to creatively express our hair is in that constant manipulation of the hair is causing breakage.
Okay.
So even though we know better, we still do it. So even I know that a lot of times people think locks just grow, like they just grow. But that's because we're not manipulating the hair, right? So I'm not manipulating my hair as much. So my locks are, of course they're growing longer than my hair when I'm natural. I'm two strand twisting it and then I'm taking it down and combing it out and then I'm putting it back up and then exactly, exactly, Nakia, the tension alopecia. And it's so funny because in our books, it's called Caribbean tension alopecia.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you know, um, a Black descent. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what we do. How we create that creative expression. So yeah, there's tension alopecia, and then there's autoimmune, right? So you have alopecia areata, or you have where your hair can grow back from like stress. Like if you start getting like different spots
Mm-hmm.
in different areas, that could be stress or that could be from prescriptions, drugs, what you're eating,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, fibroids. It could be from a lot of different things,
Okay.
right? But that's not permanent hair loss. And then you have androgenetic alopecia. So, I mean, we can get into it all day, but yeah, there are so many different reasons for hair loss. Product being definitely one of them.
Okay.
Yes.
When you start to talk about Black women and hair, there's so many levels. I would say even back from slavery. I was reading article once, and it was talking about Black women and their hair during women use scarves um, and different techniques to protect their hair, and also as a
Mm-hmm.
form of resistance because they were trying to strip us of our culture, expressions of our culture, and many of the women would create certain styles as a form of resistance, you know, to their
Mm-hmm.
hair, even during.
I mean, yeah, it's tied to special events. It's tied to rites of passage. It was tied to maps.
Yes, yes,
You had maps that would create grades where it would tell you
absolutely,
where to go, where to meet. Yeah. So
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, it's so many different things tied to. Our hair can do so many. Our
Oh,
hair can do everything.
oh my goodness! And see, we've been through the. Okay, we've been through the. I remember the pressing curls, and getting the little burns. I don't know if you went through the pressing curls. That might have been.
I
Oh, you
did.
did. You went through the
I
pressing curls.
did.
Okay.
That was one of the things that my mom would do.
Okay.
She would do. I was obsessed with Whitney Houston, so I wanted to look like Whitney
Okay.
Houston on picture day all the time. my mother would tell me that is a wig. I cannot make your hair look like that. But yes, that is also a different form of alopecia that's caused from the hot comb, the oil dripping down and permanently damaging,
Hmm.
burning the edges. So that was another form of alopecia that we created for
Wow.
ourselves. So, but yeah, I had me
You
some.
had your Jessica
I had me some
curls, and
relaxer.
then we had the perms. Then we went through the
Yes,
perms.
I
Yeah, the
begged for
burning of
it.
the scalp, all all
Mm-hmm.
of that, and then we came to a revelation with the afros, and when we became proud of our hair. But then even with that, we went through some damaging, with the blow drying, and and then putting products on there, as you say, that are banned today. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
then came the Jerry curls with all of the dripping grease. So I mean, we've been through so much with our hair, and now we're doing. We went with the African braids, and we got into the extensions, and now a lot of weaves. So what is your
Mm-hmm.
take? What is
Oh,
your take on the, yeah? What is
wow.
your take on the weaves?
Um, I mean, which is funny because I'm 43 now, right? When I was younger, I had strong opinions about everything.
Hmm.
I don't. I just feel like hair is different for a lot of
Hmm.
people. Okay, so we talk about the weaves, or extensions, and it's different than it used to be, right? So I remember when back in the day when we would wear weaves, we didn't want anybody to know that we were wearing a weave.
Okay.
That's not the case in this generation. In this generation, we are full on. I'm gonna create me a hairline and some baby hair. Like you gonna know this is a weave, and this is the hottest weave, right? So I just think that it's a form of creative expression.
Okay.
But like we talked about, it might not be for me, but at the end of the day, I see what people are. I get it. I see what people are doing. You know what I mean? They're trying to have fun.
Absolutely.
They're trying to express through their hair.
They're having fun with
So
their hair, their clothes, everything. Yeah.
yeah, everything. So that's just the greatest part
And
about being a black
the
woman.
colors of the
You
hair.
do it.
Yeah,
Colors,
coloring it
yeah,
pink and
absolutely.
blue and green. Mm.
But like just like everything else that we talked about, like braids, all of that can cause damage and permanent damage, especially if we think about the toxicity in different glues, and adhesives.
Hmm.
That's a type of permanent hair loss that you don't think of. I've had permanent hair loss. You wouldn't think that I would have gone through that growing up in the salon, but I remember going through a phase where I wanted to have designs shaved on the side of my head. I had a mohawk, and I wanted to have designs, carved
Okay.
in, and I got permanently burned
Okay.
by the clippers.
Oh wow.
You know,
Okay.
it never grew,
Never did
and it won't.
that. Okay.
Those follicles are healed
Hmm.
over, so that can happen through like burning. There's risk in a lot of it,
Okay.
and a lot of times we we really want the hair to grow back, but it is what it is, and you know.
Well, I think that's why this licensing is important too, because it
Mhm.
helps give people some levels of protection. It's not 100%, but
It's not 100% because not everybody is so passionate about the
mhm,
education behind
mhm,
it. And I think that that's important. There definitely needs to be a standard around making sure that people are doing best practices. But the curriculum that is required to teach you how to be a professional natural hair stylist or braider is telling you about anatomy, is telling you about scalp diseases and disorders, sanitation, public safety.
Mhm.
All of these different things, they matter. They matter when you deal with someone's hair. I mean, if they matter, if you're doing someone's nails, and we know that's creative expression, right?
Mhm.
But you can also get diseases when people are not sanitizing their tools properly.
That's right.
And it's the
That's
same thing with hair.
right. That's right. That's right.
The same thing with hair. Different.
So you have given a good summary in terms of your products and your breadth of work in this industry. I know you said I think you started when you were 15. You started
Yes. Remember
1
when I
year.
was
You
15?
said at 15. Remember the first time I met you, it was at the health food store in Lansing. And
Really?
your mom introduced you as, her and someone that was going to be working as a stylist, that you were going to be doing hair, and I was like, oh, okay. Little Amazon here. Okay. And you really took it to heart, and you have stayed with it, all this time.
Yeah, I care about it. And I mean, I was taught to care about it, but I was taught also to care about us,
That's
as
that's right.
women of color,
Absolutely.
that was like kind of ingrained in the pride of being a Black woman. Yeah.
And it made me
So
comfortable
it's,
enough. I would bring my daughter, my daughter's hair is very thick. And I remember the
ooh, so
words you
much hair.
used after you did her hair. You said, working with Aaliyah's hair was a journey. I think that's the word that you used. You said it was a journey. And I'm like, I can imagine, because I know what it was like for me, trying to do your hair.
Yeah.
And so now she wears
But
locks. She wears locks. She does it herself,
yeah.
and she lets it grow out, and she does her whatever little manipulating she's gonna do. It's not a lot, but she has these thick
Mhm.
locks. Is what she has now.
I don't know. She has so much hair. So much hair.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah. That's the beauty of that because when I was growing up and I would go to get my hair done at different salons, they would look at me coming like, oh no. They would roll their eyes.
Oh,
They didn't want to be bothered because it took too much time. My hair was too thick. It was too nappy or whatever because,
mhm,
it's all about easy, right?
mhm.
In and out.
Yep.
And I think that having places where you go and people really care
Mhm.
about your hair, how dense, thick it is. They appreciate it,
Appreciate it.
and textured hair
That's right.
is that kind of hair needs to be
And see,
appreciated.
that
Yeah.
attitude eliminates that good hair, bad hair conversation. When people are
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
"Oh, your hair is going to be really thick. You have bad hair." No, it's not bad hair.
Mhm.
It's something that you need to
Yeah.
understand, that you have to respect and
Mhm.
have some knowledge about. You know, to be able to
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Respect.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I wanted to talk a little bit about you. I know you have been very involved in the community. You've worked as a community advocate. And
Mhm.
we're talking to Nadra family. For some of you that may have come in late, this is Nadra Smiley of Evolving Textures. She has a wonderful line of natural hair care products, and a lot of thought has gone into these products. A lot of care and concern have gone into these products, and so we're just talking about taking care of your hair and all of these different products that we have and the different phases that Black women have gone through with their hair. We're having this type of conversation tonight. But Nadra has also worked as a community activist, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to speak to that tonight.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, cool. So, this is actually probably the best time for me to talk about that because I started community activism when I was like 20 something, like early 20s, right? I was indoctrinated into this program that then Senator Barack Obama was doing, and he taught us as young people about politics and legislature. And something that's happening right now, I think that is really, really important. And I care deeply about it is advocating for natural hairstylists and braiders as women of color who own their own businesses, who are entrepreneurs, and a beauty industry that is rich and mainly rich because of the women of color who spend their money and their dollars in it. I know throughout on a national level that there have been some state sweeping bills that have been removing our license as natural hair professionals or as hair braiders because there's a notion that it's just braiding hair.
Mhm.
And one of the things that we are fighting right now is for the recognition to keep our licensing to not be erased from the beauty industry. Because, like I said in 2010, we fought hard to be recognized. And now state legislators, for some reason, are coming in to try to take that away from us. So my request for anyone who is watching this is please contact your state representative or your senator just by looking up your zip code and putting in Illinois senator. You can find out who your senator is. Contact them and let them know that erasing hair braiding from the Cosmetology, Barber, Braid, Nail, and Aesthetics Act is
Okay,
wrong.
give me that.
And
Give us
we
that name
oppose.
again. The bill.
Say that
The
again.
okay. The act.
The bill, the bill is called HB. Let me give you the exact number. The bill is let me give you the exact bill number.
I mean, this is very important. Family. Nadra is.
And
Go on.
go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm
Nadra
sorry.
is telling us about a bill uh, and where they're trying to get rid of the licensing for braiders and trying to say that it's just braiding, it's not under cosmetology. So I want you to go on and give
Mhm.
us the name of that bill.
So the name of the bill is HB. This is the House bill. It's HB, standing for House Bill 3356. This is a bill to immediately remove hair braiders from the Cosmetology, Barber, Nail, and Aesthetics Act. And then the other bill is called SB, Senate bill, which is its twin. It's the
Mhm.
same, but it's the Senate bill. It's SB 2348. Okay. Um, right now, we are waiting for the last meeting. All of these meetings have been behind, I want to say behind our backs, but the correct term would be without any of our contribution or input. Um, and there are two state representatives who are pushing this. One of them is Senator or State Representative Carol Amons,
Carol.
and the other Carol Amons.
Okay.
She's been pushing this bill really hard. and the other is State Representative Christopher Belt. These are two people who have been pushing this bill without any input from the professionals that it will
Now,
affect,
what would be the purpose?
which will
What would be the purpose of them doing this?
I will tell you what has been said, which is this is not a profession. This is not a technical profession. This is an artistic craft.
Hmm.
So, which is really interesting because, like I said before, nails is an artistic craft,
Right.
right? But it's also a technical profession because if you're using the
The tool.
tools and you're not sanitizing properly, you can cause irreparable
Right.
damage to someone,
That's right.
right? This is about public safety.
Hmm.
And it's not just about public safety, it's about us being able to be recognized for our professionalism, our
Hmm.
craft in the beauty industry that uses and profits off of everything that we make and
That's
do.
right.
And to say that we don't have a voice, this is something that gives us a
That's right.
voice. Okay. So the only difference between hair braider, which is classified with locks, natural hair styling, extensions, the only difference between me saying, I want to get this license and I want to get a cosmetology license is I choose not to do chemicals, right? I choose that I don't want to do relaxer. I don't want to do color. My field is in the natural practice of hair, right? Any way I can manipulate the hair naturally. That's what my profession is in. That's what I'm
But
skilled in.
even
That's
even
what I
with
want to learn.
the natural hair, people do color, right?
Hmm. They're not licensed to do color, but some people do it. I
Hmm.
ain't talking about them.
Okay.
If you doing it and you're not licensed to do it,
Okay.
you know you're licensed to do it. And most of the time, your client know you're not licensed to do it either.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
but yeah, our license doesn't include color. But if you're a cosmetologist, yes, you do color. You can do color, and sometimes you might specialize
Hmm.
in color. Just like with the hair braider license, sometimes I'll specialize in locks.
Okay.
So if it being called, I think hair braider license
Hmm.
has confused some people to think that it's just about braids
Sure.
and that notion in your mind, which is very sad, of people not caring about braiders because they're just braiding. They're just braiding hair. They just braiding
Just
hair.
braiding hair. Yeah. That's really
Yeah,
important.
it's a it's a respect thing.
Yes, it
So
is.
these representatives have taken away the respect of our craft and said they just braiding hair, even though they dealing with the public, even though they're it's a public health safety issue, even though they are causing tension alopecia and
Hmm.
all kind of irreparable be causing all kind of irreparable
Yeah.
damage. But guess who they're servicing? And people need to think about that too. Guess who they are
That's
servicing?
right. Black women.
Black women.
Black women, and they don't care.
Is that why we don't care?
Hmm. Hmm.
Is
That's
that
right.
why the hair is
That's right.
so I wonder if we were serving a different kind of public, if it would be different.
That's right. It would be. So it's up to us to do
Hmm.
something about it. It's up to us to make those calls to support what you're doing. That's what's important. So, Nadra,
Yeah.
um, do you have any closing remarks? Do you have any advice to people who want to be braiders out here, or to people that are getting their hair braided and treated naturally?
I do. I think that my biggest advice to anybody who wants to enter into the beauty industry, because it's the beauty industry. It's an industry that that I love and I have so much passion for. Whether no matter what we're doing in it. It's an artistic expression. It's also legacy. So if you are interested in, getting into this field, wear it with pride and know that you can take it to whatever level you want to. You are your only limitation. And if you want to go further, there's no limit on what you can do. Licensing helps you with that, but also your colleagues, and look to other people to help guide you if you need help. Reach out. A lot of times, there are barriers to a lot of different things, of access, right? So if you don't have the money, if you feel discouraged, reach out and ask for help.
Right. That's right. Okay, well, Nadra, it's been a pleasure, very, just very awesome pleasure talking to you tonight, about this subject matter. I hope people have learned something from this. We want people to support your product. Tell us how people can support your product.
Please visit my website, evolvingtextures.com. We have our products available for purchase. We also have subscriptions. I know that if you are new to using our products, definitely sign up for our newsletter because you can get special discounts. Follow us on Instagram at Evolving Textures, and there you'll be able to see our affiliates. You can get 15% off using our affiliate codes. We are definitely geared towards the natural hair stylist community. So they love our products, which means that you'll love our products. And we have products that are good for shine, moisture, and hold. So if you're looking for something to keep everything nice and together, evolvingtextures.com. Come to us first. Don't go to Amazon.
Where they sell.
Absolutely.
We also have a Memorial Day sale. I forgot all about the sale. We are running a Memorial Day sale from today until the 26th for 15% off store. Anything on the store is 15% off. The code is HONOR15.
Okay.
All caps, HONOR15. When you get 15% off of anything.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, Nadra, I want to thank you, family. I want you to support Evolving Textures. I want you to support our Black bookstores. Our Black bookstore of this month is Burst Into Books in Roseland. They have so many events going on over there. They have so many book clubs, open mics. It's a community hub. It's more than a bookstore. So we want you to support them, and please go to rrgbc.org and subscribe to possibly be a winner for our book of the month. Rest is Resistance. All you have to do is subscribe, and you can go to our website and also donate to our cause here at Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities. But most of all, support Black businesses. Okay. And Nadra, thank you again for coming. And
thank you so much. It has been a wonderful pleasure. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right. Good night.
Good night.